everyone, I'm your host Anita Galler, and I'm here at Tasvir's Seattle South Asian Film Festival at the beautiful Seattle Art Museum. We're about to talk to guests on the red carpet and get ready for this awesome film premiere. I'm here with Rachel Shaw, and she's going to talk to me about her film. Now, Rachel, tell me a little bit about a background about the film that you created.
Okay, so mine's a feature-length documentary called Black Sheep, and it's basically about the transgender female community of India, in specific Mumbai. So basically it looks into them as people rather than a label. So it's me spending 40 days with them and understanding them as a person rather than a certain tagline.
लड़का हो लड़की हो या कोई हिजड़ा भी हो लेकिन लड़का लड़की नहीं देखना चाहिए उसके अंदर कितना अपने लिए प्यार है
मेरे ऊपर घासलेट डाल दिया था जलाने के लिए बोलती उससे अच्छा ये जिंदा रहने से अच्छा मर जाना चाहिए
मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं मेरे को प्यार हो तो उससे मैं क्या करूँ कि चाय वाले लड़के के साथ मैं शादी वो मुझे सबके सामने एक औरत लेके घूम रहा है
What inspired you to do a film like this? I know this is such a taboo topic, especially for the South Asian community. Right. So what inspired you to make a film on this subject?
So basically, I was born and brought up in UK, but I got married in Delhi, and my husband did say that, you know, these transgender women might come to your wedding and bless you because that's what happens in India. They come and bless you, and that's how they make their money. But when they came, I was just really shocked at how this system works. And the more obsessed I got about understanding them, the more cycle I found the same stuff, like the fact that they're seen as the untouchables because they've changed gender, or that they beg or they do other work because they can't get a real job. But I just couldn't find any information that showed them as people, like what's their favorite color, you know, they're a person before they're anyone's a label. So that's what sparked it, really.
What was your experience like? I know filming a film that's so important to you on a subject that's kind of so different. Like, what were the emotions that you were experiencing during this whole process?
It's a roller coaster. Especially, it's my first as a director. So on a filmmaking avenue, you go through highs and lows. You go through a high when you get accepted at a film festival, right? You get a low when you get rejected. When you got to try and find the money. And I think that was the most difficult thing, was finding funding, because LGBT is major worldwide, mainly in the Western world, but in India, no one wants to fund it. No, everyone's like, nope. And the thing is, because it hadn't been done before to show them as people, a lot of people were like, well, this film hasn't been done, so is it going to work? So a lot of ups and downs, so a lot of tears.
How do you think this is going to change just the type of movies that are now being made by South Asians? Because I know this is a subject that's not necessarily normal. It's a little off the cuff. So, like, how do you think this is going to change, or how do you hope it changes?
I don't think it's going to change the way other filmmakers work. Every filmmaker, especially documentary filmmakers, have their own way, and you've got to respect that. But in the sense of the reason why I made this film is because in UK, the bridge between, you know, the people and LGBT is there now. That's not anywhere close in India. So if Black Sheep acts as a brick towards that bridge, then I've done a great job. So I'm hoping that when people are watching it, they're watching a person rather than a transgender, you know, and that when they come out, they realize that these are people. So that's the main aim.
How do you feel being here at the film festival and having your film being shown here?
You know what, I'm so happy and I feel honored that Black Sheep is screening here in Seattle, especially because it's got such a big LGBT community as well, and an Asian community at that too. And I really wanted to bring it to US, and you know, the film, Seattle South Asian Film Festival, is about love wins. That's exactly what the film is based on. So it just organically fits perfectly.
I'm here with filmmaker Jakil Kambo, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his exciting new film. So tell me a little bit about the film and what it's about.
Well, Help Wanted is about South Asian gang violence. It involves Pav, who is a Punjabi teenager who struggles between the gang life and family life at home.
They told me you'd be protected, respected, and feared. You just have to promise to play by their rules. But most of the time you're on your own.
Oh, hero, tu kitta siga?
You do things you know others won't understand.
You have hands. Go get a job.
Nobody's going to defend you.
Brought you into this when you were nothing.
Where did this idea come from? Was this something that you were inspired from something you've seen, or where did it come from?
Well, I understand that I'm from Canada, Vancouver, Vancouver, Canada, but I understand that gang violence is a controversial topic back home, and there was this pamphlet sitting at my grandfather's table, and I picked it up and I go, "Dad, what is this?" And he said, "Oh, it's nothing, just give it to your grandma." And I said, "Okay," so I took it, I read it, and right there I knew that we had a story to tell.
That's really interesting. So tell me a little bit about this character. I think the film follows Pav, you said, and kind of his journey and what he has to deal with.
Well, without spoiling it too much, Pav is a high school kid who wants to find a family, and like many Punjabi kids at home, or South Asians in general, if they don't get that at home, they find that elsewhere. And that elsewhere could be gangs. And to find that sense of belonging is something that he's after.
As a filmmaker, what's the most important message or the most important aspect to get across in a film for you?
In this film, or in just
in general when you're telling a story and related to this film?
Well, we want to be universal. We want to touch hearts. We want to comment on the human condition so that others and audiences can see themselves in it. And that's the only thing that matters to me. And of course, love wins, right?
How does it feel to be here in Seattle at the South Asian Film Festival?
Well, I'm very humbled, very honored to be here to represent Canada, to represent the Punjabi community, to represent South Asian community. So I'm very lucky to be here, very humbled to be here. And I just can't wait for people to see the film and have their thoughts on it. And we'll find out tomorrow.
I'm here with the line producer of the film, Aina Baji. Now tell me a little bit about the film and what does the film mean? What's the name of the title, the meaning?
So Aina is a person actually who is a struggler in our city called Dhaka. So we have 16 crore people in Dhaka city, in entire country. So where they come from different parts of the country to Dhaka for struggle, for life, to get a glimpse of a piece of the life, get successful in life, but they do really hard job, struggles a lot. So Aina is not separate from them, so he came to Dhaka to do something. But he is really talented about about acting. So he maybe he like to do something about the acting part, but he can't do anything regarding the acting. So what happens in the city life? So there is a dark part in the city. So for others, he have to do something which he's supposed to not to do. But for money, he does that. So we'll see what actually he ended up with.
এক ক্যারেক্টার থেকে আরেক ক্যারেক্টারে শিফট হলেই সব হাওয়া।
বুঝো না এই ব্যাপারটা?
What was the shooting process like for such a big film like this? Because I'm assuming that there was many different days and locations. What was the process like in putting the film together?
Okay, actually, our films demanded more than 150 locations.
Wow, that's a lot of locations. That probably made your job very difficult.
Very difficult job to process on this. So we did a very good pre-production. It was like 2 months, 3 months. We was hunting down the location, and later on we made shooting board, so that entire team can know what exactly we want to finish, or what we want to achieve. And all the locations, among them, only 10 or 20 will be set up. Rest of them are all real locations. Shooting in real locations, is horrible in doing in cities where millions of people live in one single city.
Right, because it's so crowded. It's probably hard to get space.
Yeah, right. And also we are shooting on the time of rain, so it was huge rain there, so we have to control the shooting time periods. So we have completed this film in 49 days period of time, which was all the days was planned. So according to the plan, we completed the shoot, and after that, we take 6 months for the post-production. So entirely, we have taken from the beginning of the script, it was 2 years to complete this film. So now we can see the film on the theaters.
Wow, 2 years. Well, congratulations. How do you feel being here and finally kind of getting to celebrate all of your hard work?
Actually, the team of Ainabaji is really excited because this is our first film, and we didn't thought we can go that further. Only the viewers made this possible for us because their responses are so huge, unexpected, that's why we feel that we are here because of them.
Well, thank you so much and congratulations. I look forward to seeing the film tonight. Thank you. So tell me, what did you think about the film that we just viewed?
First of all, I'm from Bangladesh. So it was a great experience to watch a Bengali film on an international platform. As a making-wise, this is a great film. It took me back 10, 15 years back to my country. I was looking at all the scenes, that I visited myself. So it's kind of a flashback for me. Making-wise, it's an amazing film. It's multiple characters played into one role. So the story of the movie was really, really strong, and I loved watching it all over. The photography, the videography, the acting, all combined together. It's a great package, and it's bound to be successful.
What are you looking forward to most for the rest of the film festival?
I have been coming to Tasveer Film Festival for last 4 years, and it never disappointed me. So I'm definitely looking forward much more exciting, more thought-provoking films to be coming, and I'm waiting to watch them.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the festival. So tell me, what did you think about the film we just viewed?
This was my first Bangladeshi movie that I saw. I thought it was excellent. Gave a really nice view of, the entire city, and the story itself was absolutely wonderful. And the character that Chanchal played was just beautiful. His acting was great. Everything was fantastic.
Thank you. Are you looking forward to seeing any other particular types of movies during the duration of the festival?
I think I'm just gonna try and see as many as I can. It's really good that the Sphere is bringing out all these movies and, for everybody to see. So it's fantastic.
Okay, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the festival. What did you think about the film Ainabaji that we just viewed?
It was really hard. It was emotionally tough.
What particularly about the film did you like, or what spoke to you?
I think the difficulty of the lives of everybody who's living there, and how they're struggling to try to make it better.
Have you come to the film festival before, or is this your first time?
It's our first. We're new to Seattle.
Oh, well, welcome. This is a great way to welcome yourself to the city. And are you planning to come view any other films during this week?
Yeah, we haven't figured out which ones, but hopefully we'll be making a few more.
I hear there's a lot of good ones to choose from, so good luck.
Yes, thanks.
I'm here joined by Varun Tandon, and he's going to talk to us about his short film, Syahi. So Varun, tell me, what does Syahi mean, and give me a little bit of background on the film.
Yeah, so Syahi basically in English means ink, and the English title of our film is Uphill. So the relevance of the title is it means like with ink you write a new chapter. So the film is about a small boy and how he goes through the challenges of childhood with his family and with his friends, and how he learns to write a new chapter in his life. And it's a coming of age story, yeah. So.
So I know your film is geared towards youth. Why did you decide to make a film that revolves around a younger hero?
So basically, I wrote it as a short story, and I felt that every child in his life goes through small moments which end up leaving like a larger influence in his life, which alter his perspective. And these small moments could be really small, like a walk with your father or a chat with your mother, but when you grow up, they stay with you. Hence, I made this film about a very small incident which a child goes through, but it ends up changing his life. And hence, I thought this is the perfect story to tell.
That's so true, because sometimes the smallest moments when you're a child just shape your entire life. So how do you feel like a story like this is just going to shape Indian cinema? Are you looking forward to seeing more stories like this that are kind of on topics that are not necessarily as conventional?
I don't know, I'll call my film conventional or not. It's difficult for me to categorize it. It's for the audience to do it, but it's a personal film, and I as an audience also like watching films which are personal to the director, which only one director can make, and which have a stamp of his own personality on the film. So I like watching personal films, and this is a very personal film, so I hope it will connect to people. That's the best I can hope for. And in terms of a larger influence, I just hope more filmmakers will make more personal films, and so the audience also gets to see a new world.
What are you hoping is the takeaway from the film, the message?
It's first of all, it's supposed to engage an audience and it's supposed to entertain them. So as long as the audience is engaged, I'm happy. But there is a message in the film that one should learn to enjoy simple things in life. We shouldn't always run after materialistic gains, because once you get them, you want more. So you should, as they say, the best things in life are free. Film is also about enjoying what you have and being happy with what you have instead of always running after something or the other.
Well, that's a very powerful and interesting message, and we really look forward to seeing your film and hopefully more work from you in the future.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm here at the beautiful Seattle Asian Art Museum, and it is midweek of SAF 2016. With over 45 films, the audiences have had plenty to choose from, and even opportunities to listen to directors and filmmakers. This year's theme is Bangladesh and #LoveWins. So let's go inside and see what's going on. Come on. I'm here with filmmaker Shaunak Sen, and we're going to talk about his film City of Sleeps. So tell me a little bit about the synopsis or the premise of the film.
Well, the film is a documentary, and it's broadly based on the politics of sleep in Delhi. Now, you know that Delhi has a staggering number of homeless in the city, and most of these people need to sleep. Over the recent years, what's happened is that various informal industries have come up which control where homeless people sleep. So the film basically looks at different sleep markets and sleep mafia sections. These are people who control who sleeps where, for how long, and what quality of sleep for the homeless.
यही सही वाली चारपाई है 40 रुपए वाली। जमाल भाई ने आज वादा किया था कि मुझे सस्ते में देंगे।
नींद की जो आखिरी क्षमता है वो हमने पहचानी। वो कहते हैं इलीगल है, मगर खिदमत खल्क तो हम ही कर रहे हैं।
So I'm not sure about our audience, but I didn't know that this was such a big problem in Delhi. When and how did this become such a problem where it's considered a sleep mafia?
Look, homelessness has been an enduring problem for a while now. I think what's happened in the last 10 to 15 years is that when a large number of people cluster at one sleeping spot, depending on the amount of air it gets, depending on the temperature, depending on how hard the ground is, depending on whether the authorities come in and swoop in and remove them, over time trends develop. And people, more enterprising people, realize that these are places where sleeping material like a cot bed, like blankets, can be given on rent. And over time this accretes and an industry gets to be formed. So I do think this is a fairly recent development, but now one of the places, so I shot 2 places in the film. One of the places was a well-oiled sort of machinery wherein we were talking about close to 800 people sleeping there every night.
And this was all in Delhi, primarily.
Yeah, it was in Delhi.
So what about this topic inspired you? How did you come to decide that this is the topic I'm going to make my film about?
Well, the genesis, right at the onset of it was, so I had a massive insomnia problem, and that initially spurred me to think about sleep, to philosophically engage with sleep. Eventually what happened was I started visiting different night shelters in the city, and after going there I realized that people there were constantly nudging me towards visiting the informal setup of sleep in the city, which is a far bigger sort of a setup. We're talking about close to 2 million in the city, and obviously there are informal sections that come up. And I do think this is something of a social necessity, that given the sheer number of people, you can't have the government night shelters providing even an infinitesimal amount of a fraction of that people adequate housing. So you do need things that provide them shelter, and it's the informal sector therefore that provides them that.
What do you think is the most interesting aspect of this that you learned while making this documentary? Or like something that really surprised you?
There were a range of things. I mean, I shot for about 3 years for the film. I think the one thing that stood out was the sheer detail and span of the informal sector within Delhi. Informal sectors are interesting because they're constantly shape-shifting and mutating, because they're constantly, working within blind spots of the law and blind spots of legislation. But it's quite amazing how they're shape-shifting beasts and very often proliferate with great speed before one even knows it. And the main thing that struck me is how much of a necessity and how important they are.
Right. I mean, this is such an interesting topic and it's so different. What are your hopes for the audience to take away after they watch your documentary?
Well, the first knee-jerk response usually for a middle-class audience is that of jolt. That they immediately get a bit
like, wow, oh my gosh, this exists.
They didn't know that this sort of a thing existed, and this volume and scale. One hopes that the incipient response goes beyond just that of shock, and people understand, the minute one for an hour and a half experiences another person's life experience with this kind of a mundane everydayness to it, the empathetic contract to it changes completely. And one just hopes that there's only so much a film can do. A film can only enter your bloodstream or your imagination and change your approach towards certain things in life to a certain extent. And that's all a film like this can do. It's just greater alacrity and maybe reduction of the blinkers that a middle class person, that all of us have around our eyes usually. So,
well, I think as a filmmaker, you're also trying to bring awareness to issues that other people might not be totally aware of, and this is definitely a topic that's important and I'm sure was an amazing experience for you as a filmmaker.
I'm absolutely convinced about its importance, absolutely, yeah. And I think the more the number of people who see it, the better. But my experience was my experience was far bigger than just the final 1.5 hour film that came out, and it's impossible for me to even cogently explain right now because I haven't processed it myself yet. It's still I spent 3 years making it and I ended last year. So I hope that this will be a sort of epiphenomenon in my work for time to come, and I know it will have an imprint. What it does is that it gives you new lenses through which to look into the world, and I think to a certain extent I hope that one has gotten enriched by the experience.
Now, you said this took you 3 years to complete. Are you planning or working on another film, or are you going to take a little bit of a hiatus?
Well, I don't have it in me to make another documentary right away. So I've just finished writing a fiction screenplay, which will be my next film. But I will make a volume 2 of this film, which will look at a women's night shelter and the issue of the sleep for the transgender and the disabled, both of which are very thick clusters of people in the places that I look at. And I do think they demand a film dedicatedly looking at that. but not in a couple of years' time, I think.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck with the rest of your film. Thank you so much, Baljit, for being with me tonight. Now, tell me a little bit about your film, just a brief synopsis or a brief background.
Okay, well, my film's called Many Rivers Home. It's a documentary. I filmed it over a couple years in Surrey, British Columbia. It takes place in an assisted living home that caters to South Asians, and the home is publicly funded. And it has residents that come from all backgrounds, all religions, all classes. So it's a really interesting sort of microcosm. And I just wanted to go there to hear stories of people, of their lives, and their histories. That was sort of the motivation. I especially wanted to concentrate on female stories, so I thought this would be an amazing place to find women. And they all came there for different reasons. Different circumstances in their life brought them to assisted living. While I was making the film, something tragic happened in my life, and that sort of changed the narrative of the film. So I was able to deal with a loss by actually by hearing their stories and learning from their strength and courage. Yeah.
In our culture, we are supposed to care for our parents in their old age.
I had a dream I should be doing something for seniors.
I am drawn to one of the residents in particular, Saroj. She has spunk like my mom.
We hear stories from seniors. They've been abused.
But you're sitting whole day alone and nobody's coming.
Every night and morning, I pray that I should be gone.
I didn't think my mom's last day would come so soon.
What are you hoping your audience feels when they watch this? Are you just hoping that they learn about the stories from these people? Or are you trying to say that, it's okay if this is something that you have to do or encounter in your life?
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, it's okay. I'm saying that, their stories are so worthwhile. Their histories are so worthwhile. I learned a lot from them. Their spirituality. I mean, the fact that they come from very diverse religions and communities and they get along so well, and that sense of community, I thought that was super enriching. Honestly, the motivation in making the film was it was like a love letter to that generation. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. And what would you say was the most special or memorable moment for you during the whole process?
The stories that they shared with me, the photos they shared with me, some video, friendships. Like I said, I had gone through I had lost somebody in my family, and they really reached out to me when they found out that had happened. They had called me at home. It was just really beautiful. Just a lot of love. I was lucky to have experienced a lot of love from them.
Well, it sounds like the film is full of a lot of love and knowledge and just these stories. So I wish you all the luck, and I really hope that the audience gets to enjoy it as much as you enjoyed making it.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
I'm here with co-director of the Tasveer Film Festival, Madhuri. Now, Madhuri, tell me a little bit about Tasveer and how this was founded.
So Tasveer was a nonprofit that was founded over 13 years ago. So it's a film and arts organization, and what they strive to do, the Tasveer's mission is to bring to light topics that are usually not discussed in South Asian communities and actually bring empowering discussions around them. And the medium they chose is, film and art. So that's how Tasveer was founded by Rita Meher and Farah Navsheen. Right around the 9/11, right after the 9/11 attacks, and it was a really good medium for a way to express the different almost like stereotypes that get the South Asian stereotypes.
Right, the things that people come to mind normally.
Yeah. So the film festival, specifically the Seattle South Asian Film Festival, this is the 11th year. So last year was a really big one, the 10th year, a lot of celebrations around it. This is the 11th year. It is the largest South Asian film festival in the country. It spanned 11 days over 5 cities, 9 different venues. We showed 45 films. So there's like 22 feature films and 23 shorts.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so many films. That's crazy.
It is crazy. It's like and it's a completely volunteer-led organization. So we really strive to get this festival, give it our best to make it happen every single year.
Congratulations to you and all of the Tasveer team for putting on such a wonderful film festival and really impacting the community around you. So thank you for that, and we look forward to more films next year.
Absolutely. It happens around the same time. It's always in October, so just wait for the next October to come in for the film festival.
I'm here with filmmaker Min Bador of the film Kalo Pote. Now, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell me a little bit about the film and the synopsis?
Thank you. Actually, it is the story about 2 kids, and the story is it's during the civil war in Nepal, and the kids miss their best chicken that they were making growing up, so they are searching for that chicken.
Okay, kuku bisa. घडी लाउने हो भइगयो घर बाइजाउँ नत्र मेरी दिदी या बिहा भेटाउँदैनौ
ई बरी मेरी दिदी त पोथी नभए कोही घरै आउने नै.
So where did this story idea come from? Is this a real story that happened, or how were you inspired to tell the story?
Yeah, actually it is the true story based on my childhood. Me and my friend.
Oh, so is one of the characters based on you particularly?
Yep.
So what was the experience like in making this film? How long did it take to shoot it, and is it all filmed in Nepal?
Yeah, actually all the film we shot in my hometown, and most of the actors, they are non-professional actors. So it was very interesting experience. And all the process, it took more than 4.5 years. But just the shooting, it took 3 weeks.
So what do you think is kind of the message of your film, or what is the main purpose of the story that you're trying to tell?
Actually, it's very hard to say that about the message. So the first thing to make about this movie is just to express my emotions, feelings, that's it. And after that, is the message about the harmony and friendship.
Do you think there's a lot of films coming out of the Nepali film industry? Like, what are you seeing as a filmmaker in your industry?
Yeah, actually, every year we produce more than 100 feature films, but most of them are copied from Indian cinema, Bollywood film. But nowadays, lots of young filmmakers, they are trying to make very good films out of this.
Is there anything we can expect to see from you next? Is there another film that you have in mind?
Actually, I just finished my next script, and now we are doing research and looking for finance. So hopefully it will come out by 2018 or 19.
Well, thank you. We're really excited to watch your film tonight. So all the best, and thank you for speaking to me.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm here with festival director Kiran Dillon. Now, Kiran, tell me a little bit about Tasveer and when it started and how this came to be.
Absolutely. So Tasveer was founded by Rita Meher and Farhan Oshin, who are here today, after 9/11, so in 2002 in March. And their idea was to really create a film and art organization that would help dispel some of the myths and stereotypes surrounding South Asia and South Asians that were really prevalent in the media at that time, and unfortunately still exist today. So they got together, started with just a single screening first year, and continue to grow the organization to now where we're a 10-11 day event here in Seattle.
Now, how many years has it been going on this scale? Like, when did it kind of go from a single screening to what it is today?
Yeah, so for the after the single screens, for the first few years, it was a 3-day event, and then I think it was a 5-day event for a year or so. And then starting the last 2 years, it's been 10 days. So over 2 weekends and some time in between. And then we usually have a preview night beforehand. So sort of full 10, 11, 12-day festival. Huge operation.
Tell me a little bit about the screening process, because I'm sure once you put the word out there, you probably get a lot of submissions, and there's only a certain amount of films you can pick. So what is that process like?
Yeah, so this year we had 150 submissions, so we're not a huge festival, but that was quite a few for us. So we put together a programming committee, and we have a rough guideline of what we think is important. You know, creativity, production value, impact, all of that. And each film is watched by at least 3 people. And so we use this quantitative measure, and then we all get together and really talk about each film, and people will pitch why they think something is important. And then also, as we screen the films, we notice that, whoa, this film would be really great with this to create a program together, and we can have a really rich discussion after, because we love to invite filmmakers, and having them participate in the post-film Q&A really, I think, changes the way people see the movies and how you think about it, just to know what went on in the back end. So it's a lot of movie watching, talking, some arguing, and finally,
of course,
and then convincing each other, okay, this is the right program. Working with this organization has helped me realize how powerful art and film are to bring social change. It's sort of activism, sort of without really going out there and holding banners and stuff.
Right, because it inspires so much.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's amazing. You know, the post-film Q&As we have had in the past. You know, we showed this film on this deaf Indian wrestler a few years ago. The filmmaker wasn't even there, and the audience members got together and started a petition to get this person instated into the Olympics. And so it really...
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's not just talking about change. It's actually people make things happen, and that to me is just inspiring.
Well, thank you so much. It was an amazing pleasure getting to work with you guys, and I look forward to seeing more of the films. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm here with filmmaker Harun Messi of the film Gardab. Now, tell me a little bit about your film and what this title means.
So, Gardab means whirlpool. It's set in Karachi. It's a film about the people trying to deal with the violence in Karachi. It's really about human fragility. There's a romance that blossoms in this chaos, and so it's like the struggle of the people, of the young people, actually. Yes.
तुम हमारे इलाके के नहीं हो ना?
शाबाश भाई, नंबर मिला।
तू भी मुझे कैद करना चाहता है ना?
तुझे कोई एतराज है?
हाँ, बिल्कुल है।
तू कर ले मुझे कैद।
So, what inspired you? What particularly inspired you to make a subject on this film that takes place in Karachi?
So I was working on a series of shorts with children, and then I did another short with the child sex workers in Lahore, and so eventually we decided to take a look at the child soldiers that partake in the gang warfare in Karachi. So it's really like a story about child soldiers at different points in their lives.
And how much of what we're going to see in your film is accurate? Like, is a lot of it exactly what's going on, or did you take the liberty of sort of, making events for the story?
Yeah. So our research included, we started gathering stories from people living in Liari, in Korangi, and so these were just like vocal sort of stories, like what do you call them? We're recording sound. And so there was no camera around, and people were really like open about their stories and how they struggled with violence. And so we collected stories, and then we just sort of like made a collage, and like, you know, that's where our story comes from. It comes from the streets, and we did exaggerate and like, you know, yes, so it is based on real stories of real people in Karachi.
What would you say is the most important message that you would want audiences to take away after they've watched this film, especially the younger generations?
So I think it's really about how fragile human life is, and we forget, and how unexpected, like, you know, life is, and we're never ready for it. I think that's really the core of it.
Do you feel like this film is going to sort of change how people look at these relationships in the city? And like, do you think it's going to make people accept that, you know, these are things that happen today and that it's okay? How do you feel it's going to impact?
I think mostly films are about like examining yourself and like, you know, looking at your own stories, and you know, it's about self-examination.
And how do you feel being here and having it screened at the film festival? What are some things that you hope the audience take away, or that you've heard from people that have seen your film?
Yeah, so like the interesting thing is like there's a lot of intimacy in the film. I mean, there's no like, you know, it's not vulgar or anything. There's a lot of intimacy between the characters, and that came through. People really responded to that, and I think because of that, like, people really felt the effect of violence these characters suffered. So like, you know, like everything we had, everything that was in the script got translated, which is very encouraging. It's my first film, so it's really like a big deal for me. This is our second screening, like a second big screening. We opened in DC SAF. So this is just the beginning of our festival circuit.
Well, good luck. I look forward to seeing the film, and I'm sure audiences are going to love it. So good luck, and hopefully we can expect more films from you in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'm here with founder Rita Meher at the South Asian Film Festival here in Renton. So today is the last day, and we've had a great festival so far. So tell me a little bit about why you founded this festival.
Sure. If I go back 11 years ago, we actually founded the organization Tasveer in 2002, March 2002, right after 9/11. We felt that we really needed a space where we could represent our South Asian identity, have a space where South Asian can freely discuss who we are, and really highlight our stories and concerns. So that took shape into, we started showing one film at a time, and then it took a shape of a film festival. There was a big demand, and 2004 when we did the first film festival for 3 days, actually 5 days in Seattle. And here we are at our 11th Seattle South Asian Film Festival.
Yeah, it's great that it's grown so much. And when you were deciding to found this, what about films? Like, why was it a film festival that you wanted to do?
We feel, both my co-founder Farah Noshin and I, we felt, why don't we tell stories? And there's no better way to tell stories through video and film, that is. So we think film is a great tool to tell our story in a short time, and people really get it once they see a video or a film.
So thank you to everyone actually for submitting your scores as you watched all of the films. And the winner of the best short film, winner of the best documentary, and winner of the best narrative film. So, Madhuri, would you like to announce the winner of the best short film? The audience spoke loudly, and they said they loved Cities of Sleep.
The filmmaker of Cities of Sleep.
Congratulations.
1 minute.
So the winner of the best narrative film is Aina Baji.
Congratulations.
Accepting the award.
How does it feel coming all the way from Bangladesh? I know that was a far trip, and winning this award tonight. Was it all worth it?
It's worth it. The day, the festival opening show was the Aina Baji, and we heard that audience reactions after that. So it gave us a huge confidence that we have made a great movie and which will win the heart of Seattle people. So that's why I'm here, and we got it.
Well, congratulations. I'm sure the rest of your cast and crew will be super excited to find out that they won. Congrats, and we look forward to more from you. I'm here with Shaunak, who just won Best Film for his documentary. Now tell me, how are you feeling right now?
I'm quite excited because this is a slightly different festival from the others that I've been to, given how warm the community has been, etc. So it's especially heartwarming to see your own community abroad, the diasporic community, appreciate the film. So I'm quite excited about it. Yeah.
It's been an amazing and fun week here in Seattle at Tasveer's Seattle South Asian Film Festival. We had 11 days of films from all over South Asia that were thoughtful, creative, and inspirational. So remember, guys, #LoveWins, and the focus of this year was Bangladesh. So until next time, see you later. I'm going to go enjoy this chilly but awesome Seattle evening. See ya!